So Teen Titans Go has this really bizarre place in the popular culture that I just don't get as far as children's television goes. It's a comedy show for kindergartners, I think, yes, it's definitely aimed at really young children, at least, right? Based around scaled-down parody versions of the characters from the earlier Teen Titans cartoon from a decade ago that's apparently enormously popular with that audience, but also obsessively hated on by now adult fans of that previous series for causing it to not still exist somehow, I guess, or being disrespectful to the legacy somehow. I don't know. I'm old enough to remember people hating on that series for doing kind of a faux anime aesthetic instead of looking like George Perez or Bruce Timm drawings, so whatever. Anyway, I guess the makers of Go decided to lean into that at some point and actually start doing episode-length gags about this, and it caught on, and now like half the humor on a superhero parody show for little kids seems to be meta, self-referential business about how their older siblings and bitter fans on the internet hate it because of a previous show or a different show that also got canceled. And is this enough meta at last? 'Cause I think we may have finally had enough meta. Please? Maybe? Or are we waiting for the ghost of Philip Jose Farmer to actually pull up in the DeLorean in Gwenpool cosplay and dropkick Ernie Klein through the barriers of Tommy Westfall's snow globe? You're welcome. In any case, Teen Titans Go to the Movies is the feature-length spin-off of that series, and my sincere misgivings about the lifespan of superhero meta-humor and the fact that I am obviously far, far outside the target audience for this, it's kind of terrific. Again, I could be totally misreading it. Maybe to 6-year-olds it's aimed at, it's too much, not enough, or doesn't work at all. No idea, but from my end it kind of feels like an almost perfect version of exactly what it wants to be. And what it wants to be, evidently, is Deadpool for preschoolers, a joke-a-minute send-up of superhero movie cliches and comic book minutiae, executed in a style that owes pretty much everything to the golden age of Mad Magazine, existing as a set of a couple dozen bite-sized comedy skits and song parodies stitched together by a loose narrative arc riffing on the outsized presence of superhero movies at the modern box office, and finding Lego movie-style ironic but also not pathos in reference to the series' own underdog stature. The story, such as it is that the Titans are feeling left out after learning that a new incentive at Warner Brothers Studios to give every DC superhero in the world a movie of their own, except them. And when even team leader Robin learns that every facet of the Batman mythos is getting its own spin-off except for him, they undertake a series of increasingly desperate attempts to remake themselves as a movie-worthy team, ultimately uncovering an evil conspiracy that threatens the world and brings them into conflict with Will Arnett as the Go incarnation of original Titans series Big Bad Slade, aka Deathstroke. It's a long story. To stop him, they'll have to pretty much do exactly what they do to get into trouble in the first place. Be heroic in goofy ways, sing funny songs, perform comedy montages to other funny songs, be on hand for send-ups of famous superhero moments in recent DCEU movies. Yes, a Martha joke. Yes, Nicolas Cage doing the voice of Superman. Yes, Wonder Woman should be more careful about randomly crossing the arms. Yes, Green Lantern sucked jokes. Yes, even some Marvel Cinematic Universe humor. Again, the main audience here is young enough that it's conceivable they're hearing these jokes for the first time. And also, since they now have the benefit of a theatrical running time, the occasional actual heartfelt moment relating to the main characters' relationships and the expected lessons about friendship, self-esteem, and appreciating what you have, and I honestly laughed my ass off consistently throughout it. As has often been the case in the world of lower-budget kids animation, the writing is picking up the slack where the visuals may be more on the adequate side, a la the famous positive critique of Rocky and Bullwinkle having been a great radio comedy show that also came with pictures. The animation is also frequently fun too, incorporating different styles and visual puns referencing other series and movies. And indeed, older fans will want to stay through the credits, and the voice actors, regular and cameos, are all doing a terrific job. All the scenes between Arnett and the main cast are especially great, and they even manage a surprisingly witty send-up of Slade's supposed power and turn the Titans becoming obsessed with his name being fun to say into a killer recurring bit. It's hardly sophisticated humor, but like I said, it is aimed deliberately at very young kids, and seems to understand that this might be their first exposure to the idea of not only being allowed but encouraged to deconstruct and make fun of the presumed hyper-seriousness of the media they're inundated with, and You know, when you think on it, maybe that's kind of important, even if, or perhaps especially because it's not sophisticated. Like, if we are going to continue saturating children's media with commercial, product-driven narrative, Marvel and DC and Hasbro and Lucasfilm and whoever else, maybe kids should be learning as early and often as possible that taking the piss out of it and not taking the serious, epic stuff unquestioningly to heart is okay and fun and should be encouraged. You know, enjoy things, but also develop a skeptical mind, and then maybe we won't end up with another generation making YouTube screeds about how Western civilization is doomed because we didn't show proper reverence to the goddamn Thundercats. Also, some of the jokes do feel pitched just a little bit towards the parents in the audience as well, like a maybe sort of risque Plastic Man bit and a blink and you'll miss it punchline to an already somewhat grim bit about Batman's origin story that's really dark when you think about it for a minute. Although I don't know that any of the jokes they put in intentionally could hope to be funnier than the fact that one of the fake movies presented as a send-up of how absurd superhero movie oversaturation is becoming, being a solo feature about Batman's butler Alfred, and that in between making and releasing this movie, Warner Brothers greenlit an actual Alfred TV show. No, really, look it up, they're gonna do that. But yeah, I thought Teen Titans Go to the Movies was a riot. I laughed from start to finish. I was eventually legit invested in the actual story. It's every bit as good as Lego Batman, though in a different way, and when I was the target age, I probably would have been laughing at that very last joke for days afterwards. 3.5 stars, this was a really nice surprise, and I think the kids are gonna love it.